The drums started before sunrise.
You have no choice,
Slow,
mortal.
heavy, final. The whole village stood in a wide circle of fire. Torches burned bright against the gray morning sky. Smoke moved through the cold air like a warning. Today was sacrifice day. At the center of the circle, she knelt. The Giantess. Her name did not matter anymore. They had stopped using it months ago. Now they only called her one thing. Infertile. Useless. Shame. She was massive, taller than the stone houses, her shoulders broad, her skin marked with old scars from training and war. Iron chains wrapped around her wrists and ankles. Even kneeling, she looked powerful. But she did not resist. She did not cry. Her eyes were calm. Too calm. The priest raised his staff. The clans demand balance, he shouted. The weak must fall so the strong may rise. The crowd repeated his words. The hunter stood at the edge of the firelight. They had paid him well. A bag of gold heavy enough to change his life. Enough to buy land. Enough to leave this harsh place behind. He was not part of the giant clans. He was human. An outsider. That made him perfect for this job. No emotions. No family ties. Just a blade and a payment. He stepped forward. The firelight touched his face. His expression was hard. Quiet. He had killed before. Bandits. Beasts. Even rogue giants in the mountains. But this felt different. The giantess slowly lifted her head as he approached. Their eyes met. There was no anger in her gaze. Only something else. Something like waiting. The priest nodded. Do it. The drums grew louder. The hunter climbed the wooden platform built for executions. Each step sounded heavy beneath his boots. Up close, she seemed even larger. The chains dug deep into her skin, but she did not pull against them. He lifted his blade. It was sharp, clean, ready. The village held its breath. Then he saw it. On her left leg, just above the ankle. A mark. Black. Clear. Shaped like a broken circle with a line through its center. Not a burn. Not dirt. A symbol. His hand froze. The world around him faded. He had seen that mark before. Years ago. On his mother's ankle. He was only a child then. He remembered sitting near the fire as she told him stories about the old bloodlines. About giants and humans once standing together. She always covered the mark with cloth. She told him never to speak of it. One winter night, she disappeared. The village said she ran away. He never believed them. The drums kept beating. The priest shouted again, "Finish it." The giantess noticed his stare. Her eyes moved slightly toward the mark. Then back to him. For the first time, she spoke. Her voice was deep but soft. "You see it." It was not a question. His grip tightened on the blade. If that mark meant what he thought it meant, then she was not infertile. She was something else. Something dangerous. Something hidden. The priest stepped forward, angry now. "Why do you wait?" The hunter lowered the blade slightly. The crowd began to whisper. The giantess leaned closer, chains clinking softly. "They lied," she said. 3 simple words. But they hit him harder than any weapon. He looked at the mark again, then at the crowd, then at the gold bag waiting for him near the fire. He understood something in that moment. If he killed her, the truth would die with her. If he saved her, everything would change. The drums reached their loudest point. The priest raised his staff for the final command. And in front of the entire village, the hunter slowly lowered his blade. "I will not do this," he said. Silence fell. In that silence, a choice was made. And nothing in either world would ever be the same again. Silence did not last long. The moment the hunter lowered his blade, the village exploded into noise. "Traitor!" someone shouted. The priest's face turned red with anger. "You were paid," he roared. "Finish what you started." But the hunter did not move. He stood in front of the giantess now, not as her executioner, but as a shield. The chains around her wrists rattled as soldiers stepped closer with spears. Firelight flickered across their armor. The crowd wanted blood. They did not care whose. The hunter raised one hand. "I agree to perform a ritual," he said calmly. "Not a public slaughter." The priest narrowed his eyes. "What are you saying?" He spoke clearly so everyone could hear. "If she carries a cursed mark, the ritual must be done properly. At night, in silence. If you kill her like this, and the curse spreads, it will be on your heads." Fear moved through the crowd like wind. Giants believed in curses. They believed in signs. The priest hesitated. He did not want to look weak in front of his people, but he also did not want to risk angering old powers. The hunter stepped closer to him and lowered his voice. Give me one night. Lock her in the stone chamber. If I fail, you can kill both of us at sunrise. Gasps spread through the circle. The priest studied his face, searching for doubt. He saw none. Finally, he nodded. One night, he said coldly. But if you try to run, we will hunt you to the ends of the earth. The chains were lifted. The giantess was dragged away toward the underground stone chamber carved into the mountain. The hunter followed. The heavy doors shut behind them with a deep echo. Darkness swallowed the room. Only one small torch burned on the wall. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Then the giantess slowly looked at him. You risked your life, she said. He walked closer and knelt beside her chained hands. Show me your leg, he said quietly. She shifted slightly. The mark was clearer now in the torchlight. The broken circle, the dark line. His breath became uneven. Without a word, he rolled up his own sleeve. On his forearm, hidden beneath years of cloth, was the same symbol. Her eyes widened for the first time. That mark belongs to the first bloodline, she whispered. It has not been seen for generations. My mother had it, he said. She disappeared when I was young. The giantess closed her eyes briefly, as if understanding something painful. They told my people I was infertile, she said. But I was never barren. Then what are you? He asked. She met his eyes again. I am sealed. He frowned. The elders feared a prophecy, she continued. They feared a child born of giant and human blood. They said such a child would unite the clans and break their rule. The hunter felt cold. So they marked you, he said slowly. Yes. A binding curse. It stops life from growing inside me. It makes me appear weak. It makes the people reject me. Above them, faint footsteps echoed. Guards. Watching. The hunter leaned closer. If what you say is true, then killing you is not justice. It is protection. She gave a small nod. They need the lie to survive. The torch flickered. Shadows moved along the stone walls like silent witnesses. You asked for one night, she said. What will you do with it? He looked at the chains, then at the heavy iron lock, then back at her. I was paid to end your life, he said quietly. His voice changed, but I was not paid to protect their secrets. Outside, thunder rolled across the mountains. Inside the chamber, something else began to form. Not a ritual, not an execution, a plan. And by sunrise, the village would learn that mercy has a price. And he was ready to pay it. The storm came before midnight. Rain hit the mountain hard. Thunder shook the stone chamber. The guards outside the door complained and moved closer to the fire above. Inside the chamber, the hunter worked quietly. He studied the chains first. Thick iron, old but strong. Breaking them by force would be impossible. But he was not trying to break them. He was trying to understand them. The giantess sat still, watching him. The torchlight moved across her face. She did not look afraid. She looked patient. You said you were sealed, he said. Yes. Who did it? The High Elder, she answered. The same one who called for my sacrifice. The hunter stopped moving. The priest? She nodded slowly. He fears the prophecy. The hunter sat back against the cold wall. Tell me everything. The giantess took a deep breath. Long ago, she began, giants and humans fought side by side. There was peace between us. Some even shared blood. But the elders grew afraid. They feared losing control. She looked at the mark on her leg. A prophecy was written in the old stones. It said a child of mixed blood would rise. That child would unite the broken lands and end a rule of fear. The hunter felt his chest tighten. And they believed you would give birth to that child, he said. Yes. So they made you infertile. She shook her head slightly. Not infertile. Sealed. There is a difference. He looked confused. The curse does not destroy life, she explained. It blocks it, like a locked gate. But gates can be opened. The torch crackled loudly. Why not kill you back then, he asked. Because killing me would make me a martyr. Better to shame me. Better to make the people believe I was useless. The hunter understood now. If people believed she was weak, they would not question her death. They lied to protect their power, he said quietly. Yes. A loud boom of thunder shook the chamber again. Dust fell from the ceiling. The hunter walked closer to her. "The mark," he said. "What does it really mean?" She studied him carefully. "It marks royal blood. Protector blood. Those chosen to stand between worlds." He slowly showed his own mark again. Her voice lowered. "You carry it because your mother carried it." He swallowed. "She was not fully human," the giantess said gently. "Was she?" Memories rushed into his mind. His mother's strength. Her strange stories. The way she avoided the elders. "She used to tell me giants were not monsters," he whispered. "She said they were protectors." She was right. Silence filled the chamber again. Then something changed. The mark on the giantess's leg gave a faint glow. Very soft, but real. The hunter leaned closer. "It reacted," he said. "Yes," she replied. "It responds to share blood." He felt his heart beat faster. "If the curse weakens near me," he began. "Then the elders were right to fear," she finished. Above them, footsteps suddenly grew louder. Voices. Angry voices. The priest's voice. "He is taking too long," the priest said outside. "Open the chamber." The hunter stood quickly. "They are coming," he said. The giantess looked at him calmly. "Now you must choose," she said. "I already chose," he replied. The heavy lock began to turn. The door slowly opened. Torchlight from outside flooded into the chamber. The priest stood there with armed guards behind him. He looked from the hunter to the giantess. His eyes narrowed. "What are you doing?" the priest demanded. The hunter stepped forward, blocking the view of the glowing mark. "I am learning the truth," he said firmly. The priest's expression changed. For just a second. Fear. And in that moment, the hunter understood something clearly. The giantess was never the danger. The lie was. And lies always fight hardest when they are about to die. The priest stepped into the chamber with anger burning in his eyes. "You are not here to learn truth," he said coldly. "You are here to obey." Behind him, four giant soldiers filled the doorway. Their armor was heavy. Their faces were hard. The hunter stood still. The giantess remained kneeling, but her eyes were no longer calm. They were sharp now. Awake. "The ritual takes time," the hunter said carefully. "You asked for it to be done properly." The priest looked at the faint glow on her leg, and he saw it. His face changed. For 1 second, fear flashed across his eyes. Then it turned into rage. "Enough," he shouted. "Kill them both." The soldiers rushed forward. The hunter moved first. He threw the torch into the priest's face. Fire exploded in sparks and smoke. The chamber filled with sudden chaos. One soldier grabbed the hunter by the shoulder and slammed him into the wall. The air left his lungs. His vision blurred. Another soldier raised his axe toward the giantess. But something unexpected happened. She did not attack. She pulled her chained arms upward and blocked the axe with iron instead of flesh. The chain snapped from the impact. The sound echoed like thunder. The mark on her leg began to glow brighter. The priest screamed, "Stop her! Stop her now!" The hunter pushed off the wall and grabbed a fallen spear. He moved fast, low, and silent. He struck the nearest soldier behind the knee. The giant fell forward with a heavy crash. Stone cracked under the weight. The giantess stood fully now. Even with one chain still around her ankle, she looked unstoppable. But she did not kill. She pushed. She blocked. She knocked soldiers aside without crushing them. The hunter noticed this. "You could end them," he said quickly. "I will not become what they say I am," she answered. That choice surprised him more than her strength. The priest backed toward the exit. "You will destroy everything," he shouted. "No," the hunter said firmly. "You already tried." He grabbed the remaining chain on her ankle and pulled it toward a stone pillar. With one powerful strike from her foot, the chain shattered against the rock. Freedom. Real freedom. Above them, the alarm horn sounded. The entire village would soon know. They ran toward the tunnel exit. Outside, rain poured hard across the mountain village. Fire pits were dying. Guards were rushing everywhere. The hunter looked at the narrow path leading up the mountain. "That way," he shouted. Arrows flew past them. One cut across the hunter's arm. Blood mixed with rain. The giantess stopped suddenly. She turned. Instead of running, she lifted a broken wagon and used it as a shield. Arrows struck the wood instead of his back. "Go," she ordered. He stared at her. She was protecting him. A human. The one who was supposed to kill her. More soldiers came from the lower path. The hunter quickly made a choice. He grabbed a torch from the nearest wall and threw it into a stack of dry supply crates under a roof. Fire exploded upward. The rain slowed it, but the smoke grew thick. Confusion spread through the village. Through fire, rain, and chaos, they climbed the mountain path together. Behind them, the priest stood in the burning light, watching them disappear into the storm. His voice carried through the wind. "Run if you wish," he shouted. "The clans will hunt you. Both worlds will hunt you." The hunter did not look back. The giantess walked beside him, her steps shaking the earth. For the first time, she was not a prisoner. And for the first time, he was not just a hired blade. They reached the high ridge above the village. Below them, fire and smoke rose into the night sky. The giantess looked down once. "They will call this betrayal," she said. The hunter shook his head. "No," he answered quietly. "They will call it the beginning." Thunder rolled across the mountains again. And somewhere far below, the lie that ruled the clans had just been set on fire. The rain did not stop until morning. By the time the sun rose, the village was far behind them. Smoke still climbed into the sky like a dark finger pointing at their escape. The hunter and the giantess walked through the high mountains in silence. The path was narrow and dangerous. Wet stone made each step risky. But she walked with steady strength. He walked with heavy thoughts. By noon, they reached an old stone bridge that crossed a deep canyon. Half of it had collapsed long ago. Only one side remained standing. The giantess stopped. "We are not alone," she said quietly. The hunter reached for his blade. From the shadows beneath the broken bridge, a massive shape moved. An old giant stepped into the light. His hair was white. His armor was broken and rusted. A long scar ran across his face. He carried no weapon, but his eyes were sharp. "I wondered how long it would take," the old giant said in a low voice. The hunter tightened his grip. "Who are you?" he demanded. The old giant looked at the giantess first. "You should not have survived this long," he said to her. They were careful with their curse. The hunter stepped in front of her. "If you are here to take her back, you will not succeed." The old giant gave a small, tired smile. "I'm not here to hunt," he said. "I was cast out years ago for speaking against the council." The giantess stepped forward slowly. "Elder Kor," she whispered. The hunter glanced at her. "You know him? He once trained my father," she said. The old giant nodded. "And I warned him," Kor said. "I told him the prophecy would not destroy us." "Fear would." The hunter lowered his blade slightly. "What prophecy?" he asked. Kor looked at him carefully. "The child of two bloodlines," he said. "The one who would carry both strength and mercy." The hunter's heart beat faster. "You think that is her child," he said. Kor shook his head slowly. "No." Silence fell between them. Kor stepped closer, studying the hunter's face. "It is not about her alone," he said. "It is about both of you." The hunter frowned. Kor pointed at his arm. "Show me the mark." The hunter hesitated, then rolled up his sleeve. The black symbol was clear in the sunlight. Kor inhaled sharply. "So, it is true," he murmured. The giantess looked confused. "What is true?" Kor turned toward her. "The curse did not only seal your womb," he said. "It also reacts to share blood. That is why it glows near him." The hunter felt the weight of the words. "My mother," he said quietly. Kor nodded. She was not fully human. She was protector blood. "Like you." The giantess stared at him with new understanding. "That means," she began. "It means," Kor continued, "the prophecy speaks of union, not birth alone. A bond. A joining of bloodlines through choice." The hunter felt something shift inside him. "So the council feared more than a child," he said. "They feared unity." "Yes," Kor replied. "If giants and humans stand together again, the council loses power." Wind moved through the canyon, strong and cold. Below them, water crashed against stone. Kor looked toward the distant mountains. "They will send hunters," he warned. "Not only giants. Humans too." The lie spreads fast. The giantess lifted her chin. "I will not hide forever," she said. The hunter looked at her. "We do not run," he said slowly. "We learn." Kor studied them both, then nodded once. "There is a place," he said. An old shrine carved before the clans divided. The curse can be studied there. Perhaps even broken. The hunter felt hope for the first time. Not wild hope, but real hope. We go there, he said. Kor stepped aside, clearing the path across the broken bridge. As they began to cross, the hunter glanced down into the canyon. Far below, small figures moved along the lower trail. Soldiers. The hunt had already begun. He looked ahead at the giantess walking beside him. This was no longer about gold. No longer about survival. It was about truth. And truth was stronger than fear. But fear was faster. And it was coming. The old shrine stood high above the clouds. It was carved into the side of a black mountain, hidden by fog and broken stone. No banners. No guards. Only silence. The hunter, the giantess, and Elder Kor reached it by sunset. Ancient symbols covered the walls. Some were human. Some were giant. They were carved together, side by side. This was built before the division, Kor said quietly. Before fear ruled. Inside the shrine, the air felt different. Calm, heavy, old. At the center stood a round stone platform marked with the same symbol that burned on their skin. The broken circle, the line through its center. The giantess stepped onto the platform. The mark on her leg glowed softly. The hunter felt heat rise from his own arm. It reacts to this place, he said. Kor nodded. This shrine was made for protectors. Suddenly, a deep horn echoed through the mountains. Not one, many. The hunter turned sharply. They found us. Outside, shadows moved through the fog. Giant soldiers. Human mercenaries. The council had joined both sides. Kor stepped toward the entrance. I will slow them, he said. No, the giantess answered firmly. We stand together. The ground trembled as the first soldiers climbed the shrine steps. The priest appeared behind them, his white robes dark in the storm wind. You think old stones will save you, he shouted. You cannot escape destiny. The hunter moved beside the giantess on the platform. We are not escaping, he said quietly. We are ending this. The first wave attacked. Arrows flew. The hunter deflected one with his blade, but another struck his shoulder. He fell to one knee. The giantess roared, not in anger, in power. The mark on her leg flared bright, like fire. The stone platform beneath them began to glow. Light spread through the carved symbols on the walls. The soldiers hesitated. The priest screamed, stop them. But something had changed. The hunter felt warmth move through his body. His wound began to close slowly. The giantess lifted both hands. The chains of old magic that sealed her began to crack like thin ice. The priest's face turned pale. You were meant to remain weak, he shouted. The giantess stepped forward. No, she said. I was meant to remain controlled. The curse shattered. A wave of light burst outward from the platform. It did not burn. It did not destroy. It revealed. Symbols on the soldiers' armor glowed faintly, showing which giants carried protector blood long forgotten. Some soldiers stepped back in shock. They looked at their own glowing skin. The lie was breaking. The priest tried one final time. He raised a dark stone in his hand, the source of the curse. He ran toward the platform. The hunter forced himself to stand despite pain. He moved faster than he ever had before. He blocked the priest's path. Steel met stone. The dark object fell from the priest's hand and shattered on the shrine floor. Silence followed. The glow slowly faded. The giantess stood free. No curse, no seal, only strength. The soldiers lowered their weapons. They looked not at the priest, but at her, at the mark, at the truth shining in their own blood. The priest backed away slowly. You will bring chaos, he whispered. The hunter stepped forward. No, he said calmly. You brought fear. The storm clouds above the shrine began to clear. Sunlight touched the stone for the first time in years. The war the council tried to prevent had just ended before it could begin. Not with death, but with exposure. And now the clans would have to choose. Follow fear, or follow truth. The mountain was quiet after the light faded. Broken weapons lay across the shrine floor. Soldiers stood frozen, unsure of what to do next. Some stared at their own glowing marks. Some looked at the giantess as if seeing her for the first time. The priest knelt near the shattered dark stone. His power was gone. The The hunter stood beside the giantess, breathing hard but steady. No one attacked. No one spoke. Finally, Elder Kor stepped forward. "The curse is broken," he said loudly. "The lie is broken." His voice echoed across the stone walls. The giant soldiers slowly lowered their weapons. One of them removed his helmet. He was young. His eyes were confused. "Is it true?" he asked quietly. "Were we lied to?" The priest tried to stand, but no one helped him. "You needed order," the priest shouted weakly. "Without control, the clans will fall apart." The giantess stepped down from the glowing platform. She did not roar. She did not threaten. She simply walked forward. "You called me infertile," she said calmly. "You called me shame. But you never asked if it was truth." Her voice was strong but steady. "You feared a prophecy. You feared unity." She looked at the soldiers, then at the human mercenaries standing behind them. "We were taught to hate each other. But look around you." Some human fighters slowly pulled off their gloves. Faint marks glowed on a few of their wrists. Mixed blood. Hidden blood. The hunter stepped forward now. He felt every eye turn toward him. "I was paid to kill her," he said clearly. "Gold was placed in my hands to protect a lie." He looked down at the priest. "But fear is more expensive than gold. It costs freedom." The wind moved softly through the open shrine. The giantess turned toward the hunter. "You could have walked away," she said quietly. He met her eyes. "I almost did." The soldiers shifted uncomfortably. The truth felt heavy. The giantess turned back toward the clans. "I do not want revenge," she said. That surprised many. The priest lifted his head quickly. "You should," he whispered. But she shook her head. "Revenge would only prove you right." Silence filled the shrine again. Then she did something unexpected. She knelt, not in weakness, but in choice. "I offer unity," she said. "Not rule." Gasps spread across the soldiers. The hunter stepped beside her and knelt too. "If giants and humans must stand together," he said, "then it begins with us." Elder Kor smiled faintly. One by one, a few soldiers dropped to one knee. Not because they were forced, because they believed. The young giant who removed his helmet knelt first. Then another. Then a human mercenary. The priest looked around in disbelief as more followed. His power had not been taken by force. It had been replaced by truth. The giantess rose slowly. She removed the broken chain still hanging from her wrist and let it fall onto the stone. The sound echoed like a final chapter closing. She looked at the hunter. "What happens now?" she asked softly. He looked out across the mountains. The sky was clear for the first time in days. "Now," he said, "we rebuild. Not two clans. One future." The hunter who was paid to sacrifice her became something else entirely. Not a king, not a ruler, but a bridge. And the giantess once called useless stood not as a prisoner, not as a weapon, but as a leader chosen by truth. The prophecy was never about destruction. It was about decision. And in the end, the world did not change because of power. It changed because two people refused to follow fear. And that choice reshaped two worlds forever.